Back in the days before synthetic fertilizers and pesticide sprays filled every hardware store shelf, farmers relied on knowledge, passed from one generation to the next, to defend their fields. They didn't have lab-made chemicals or patented insecticides, but they had observation, patience, and ingenuity. And one of their strangest, most effective pest control secrets involves something that modern growers have almost forgotten: burying entire crops into the soil to protect the next season's harvest. This wasn't just a way to recycle nutrients. It was a deliberate pest control strategy that worked so well it baffled agricultural scientists for decades. Today, regenerative farmers and homesteaders are bringing it back. And once you understand the science behind it, you'll see why it deserves a place in every serious grower's toolkit. Farmers learned that buried plants could break pest life cycles better than poison ever could. Before tractors and chemical treatments, crop rotation and burial cycles were the backbone of pest management. In parts of Europe, Asia and Africa, farmers buried certain crops, mustard, clover, rye, and even marigolds, directly into the ground at the end of their growing season. They weren't discarding them. They were converting them into what we now call green manure. But this practice did more than feed the soil. It created a biological interruption in the pest life cycle. When a crop like mustard or marigold was ploughed under while still green, it began to decompose anaerobically in the topsoil. That decomposition released bioactive compounds, natural gases and acids that killed nematodes, soil grubs, and fungal spores. The soil briefly entered what early farmers described as a hot phase, biologically active, fragrant, and pest-free. These buried crops also created a temporary oxygen imbalance in the upper soil layers, driving out pests that needed air pockets to survive. Farmers didn't understand the chemistry, but they saw the results. Fewer root infestations, cleaner harvests, and soil that seemed to, well, heal itself. Centuries later, science confirmed what they already knew. Mustard and radish crops, when buried green, release glucosinates that break down into isothiocyanates. Natural fumigants with the same molecular effect as synthetic soil pesticides, only without harming beneficial life. The simple act of burying a living crop created a biological shield. So, let's break down what actually happens under the surface when you bury a pest-repelling crop. The key, you see, lies in the compounds the plant releases during decomposition. Mustard, radish, and other members of the Brassica family are packed with sulfur-based compounds that activate when plant cells are crushed or broken. Once buried, soil moisture triggers the breakdown of these compounds, releasing gases that fill tiny soil pockets where nematodes and larvae live. This natural fumigation process takes about 2 weeks, depending on soil temperature and moisture. During that window, pest eggs and larvae suffocate or are chemically neutralized, but beneficial microbes remain unharmed. The difference really comes down to biology. Pathogenic soil pests are sensitive to the sulfur compounds, while the microbes that aid in decomposition thrive on them. Farmers who use this method notice something else. Weed pressure dropped dramatically. The gases didn't just affect pests, they also disrupted weed seed germination in the top few inches of soil. That meant cleaner seed beds for the next planting cycle without any herbicides. Over time, the soil structure improved, organic matter increased, and the balance of life underground shifted in favor of crops, not pests. If you want to try this method yourself, the process is, well, quite straightforward. Choose a bio-fumigant crop. Mustard is the most potent, but daikon radish or arugula work too. Grow it until flowering, then mow or cut it down while it's still green and tender. Immediately till or bury it into moist soil, making sure the residue is fully incorporated. Water lightly and let the soil rest for 2 to 3 weeks before planting your next crop. That rest period allows gases to dissipate and microbial balance to stabilize. What you'll have left is soil that's both enriched and naturally disinfected. The brilliance of this ancient method lies in how it manipulates ecology rather than fighting it. When you bury living biomass, you're feeding an entire chain of soil organisms that thrive on rapid decomposition. Bacteria, fungi, and actinomycetes surge in number, consuming plant material and releasing organic acids that pests just can't tolerate. Termites, nematodes, and root borers suddenly lose access to digestible cellulose, and without a food source, they die off naturally. This microbial explosion also alters pH and oxygen levels just enough to discourage pathogens. For example, researchers studying green manures found that soils treated with buried brassicas had up to 70% fewer root knot nematodes. That's because the biofumigation compounds not only killed existing pests, but also promoted beneficial bacteria like Bacillus subtilis and Pseudomonas fluorescens, which colonize root zones and block future infestations. In simpler terms, the buried crop flips the ecosystem's balance. Instead of fighting nature, it uses decomposition as a weapon, an invisible army of microbes that turns organic matter into both nutrient and defense. This process was once called sweetening the soil, and it's no exaggeration. Within a single season, fields that were previously infested often recovered entirely without a drop of pesticide. This practice isn't new. Records from the Roman Empire mention burying legumes to purge the soil of pestilence. In the 19th century, Japanese rice farmers buried mustard and daikon between cycles to suppress nematodes. In colonial America, clover and rye were used the same way to restore spent fields. It worked across continents because the principle was universal. Soil health and pest resistance rise and fall together. Today, regenerative farmers have rediscovered the same truth. Chemical dependency is a short-term fix. Ecological balance is a permanent solution. By burying living crops, you're not just fertilizing. You're resetting the biology of your garden. It's the closest thing to a natural reset button that exists in agriculture. If your garden is struggling with root maggots, grubs, or nematodes, this technique can work in a raised bed just as effectively as in open ground. Even a small 4x4 bed can benefit. Grow a quick Brassica crop like mustard or radish after harvest, chop it down, dig it under, and give it a few weeks to decompose. You'll notice richer soil texture, fewer pest issues, and improved plant vigor. What the old farmers understood, and what modern growers are relearning, is that pest control isn't about fighting the enemy. It's about strengthening the system. By burying crops at just the right time, you set off a chain reaction that suppresses pests, restores nutrients, and, well, builds resilience for seasons to come. It's proof that real solutions don't need to come from a bottle. They come from understanding how soil breathes and heals itself. So, the next time you're planning your garden rotation, don't overlook the oldest pest control trick in the book. Plant it, grow it, bury it, and let nature do the rest. The buried crop method isn't a myth. It's field-tested wisdom that still outperforms modern shortcuts. If this deep dive into ancient pest control helped you rethink how to protect your soil, make sure to subscribe to Hydrohaven. And, share this with another grower who's tired of fighting pests the hard way. Let's bring back the kind of knowledge that built empires, sustained civilizations, and kept harvests safe, one buried crop at a time.